How's it going, guys? My name is John, and welcome to my NEStalgiaholic show. This episode, I want to talk about one of my favorite childhood books growing up, and that is Where's Waldo? This is the first one, Where's Waldo? In the UK, it's known as Where's Wally? In fact, every country has a different name for Waldo, which is cool. So Wally is in the UK. In North America, it's Where's Waldo? This is Find Waldo Now. This is the sequel. And of course, you have The Great Waldo Search, which is the third book. But there are actually, I believe, a total of 9 books in total that were released. It actually came out in 1987. It's actually still coming out. It's by a guy named Martin Handford. He's from the UK. Very, very successful line of children's books. The whole object of Where's Waldo, in case you guys don't know, is to find Waldo. But what's interesting is that each one of these pages, and that's what Waldo looks like. He's actually has a candy cane striped shirt. He's got a knit cap. He wears glasses, kind of a goofy looking guy. This one he's traveling. He's got a cane. And you're supposed to find Waldo. And it gets tricky because even though he has a striped shirt, there's a lot of different things in this where there's actually like striped, blankets. There's beach. There's a tent here that's stripes. And I remember in this particular one growing up, there's actually one where a girl is sunbathing and a kid spills ice cream on her, and she's actually like lifting up, and you can kind of see a little bit of her boob. I remember that watching, like growing very young, seeing that. I was like 6 years old. I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. But no, it's a great, great series. There's Waldo right there. I just found him. Usually it's not that easy, but not only are you supposed to find Waldo, but at the end of each book, there's actually a checklist of things that you can find as well. So for example, a boy falling from a train, a man about to step on a ball. This is from the railway station. So you can actually literally spend hours trying to find all these different things. This was a hugely successful line of children's books. There was a lot of rip-offs, so to speak, growing up. I remember a lot of similar finding books, but Where's Waldo really set the pace and was one of the first that was really, really popular. Here is one. This is the third one in the series. This is The Great Waldo Search. This is one of my favorite ones because this is actually kind of a mystical in time one. And what's cool about this particular one is each character from each scene carries over to the next one. So for example, this one has guys in like these monks in these red and blue monk clothes, robes. One will carry over to this one, and then et cetera, so forth. So they carry over. And it does get very, very challenging, and it can get very, very frustrating. But not only was it a popular line of books, but there was a TV show that came out in 1991 by CBS. It was produced by a company called DIC, who actually worked on a whole bunch of other children's shows back in the day. It only lasted 13 episodes, and there was actually a nemesis of Waldo. He appeared in some of the books. He appeared in TV series, and his name was Oddlaw, and actually, which is Waldo spelled backwards. Basically, what he kind of looked like Waldo, but he wore dark clothes, and he was supposed to be like the arch nemesis of Waldo. I believe Waldo also had a girlfriend or a wife. Her name was Wilma, I believe, and she's in some of the books where you can actually find her. There was also a dog. There's a white wizard with a beard, with a cane, Mystic Cane. And he appears in some of the books. So there's not just Waldo. He's not the only character in these books. There's a lot of secondary characters as well. Not only were there books, but there were a lot of merchandise for Waldo, including some video games. There was a game, including a game called Where's Waldo that came out for the NES. And that game, even though it got poor reviews, it was actually developed by Bethesda, which you may know from Elder Scrolls, still around today. And it was published by THQ, which had been around up until about a few years ago. Pretty popular gaming publishing company as well. They also released The Great Waldo Search, which came out for the Super Nintendo as well as the NES. Both of these games aren't very good, but there's a couple PC games. And most recently, there's actually an iOS game that came out for Waldo, available on iOS. You can actually check out currently. So it's a hugely successful line. I'm curious if you guys remember the series or not. What's your favorite Waldo book? What's your favorite memory about Waldo? Please leave a comment below. I appreciate you guys liking this video. Thanks for subscribing as always. Of course, we'll see you guys soon. Take care, and thanks for taking a trip down memory lane with me. All right, see you guys soon. Bye.